Hello, here today. So today I drag on Alba. Hello everyone. Welcome to my history of Alba, aka Scotland. Today is St. Andrew's Day. Nice name by the way, aka Scotland's National Day. So let's begin my history of Scotland. Please know that I'm doing this entire video in a Scottish accent. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to also be spiking in Scottish Gaelic, so I hope you know Scottish Gaelic. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm not doing the whole thing in a Scottish accent, although I could. I assume you don't want me to, though. Scotland's history can be traced back 3,000 grand years ago with a really brutal people known as the Picts. Hence, Scotland being called Pickland by the Romans. These Picts were insanely brutal and were horrendously violent, which is why I call them the Spartans of Scotland. That's a nice ring. On the Black Isle of Scotland, which is actually a peninsula, not an island, get it right, Scottish people, including myself, a Pictish cemetery on the Black Isle of Scotland shows to contain remains, the oldest human remains in Scotland, beginning the history of Scotland. These bones, by the way, were 1,400 years old. That's about as old as this joke is. A total of 1,892 years ago, in 128, the Caledonian Confederacy of Scotland, of the Caledonian people, more specifically, another Proto-Scottish people, which also means that the island of France, New Caledonia means New Scotland, began scaring Rome. Roman Emperor Hadrian, who I am also related to as well as being Scottish, got frustrated with the Caledonians. So what did he do? He built a big, beautiful, and grand wall to keep out all the Mexicans. The Caledonians. Most parts of the wall of Hadrian, or Hadrian's Wall, were at a max 10 feet tall. So you can imagine that the Caledonians were able to get over this wall. Sorry, Hadrian. By 550, Scotland was minding its own business when all of a sudden, St. Columba came into town, saying, probably, "Thou art sinners," and then told the Scots to try this little new thing called Christianity. Ever since that year 550, Scotland has retained its Christian heritage and stayed Christian, except for a few hiccups then and there. But hey, there's a Church of Scotland. Is that enough proof? By the 800s, a turbulent century for all of Europe, another people arrived in Scotland. It is the Vikings. By 850, they had conquered Shetland and Orkney, those islands that are so far north, they might as well be underwater, as well as the top part of Scotland, which kind of looks like a hat. In 897, one of these Norse Vikings named Sigurd the Mighty, no joke, defeated his arch nemesis, Earl Throckmorton of Moray, and decapitated him in Viking style. His head was then put on Sigurd's horse for all to see, like it was a Gucci handbag. Unfortunately, Sigurd didn't realize that Earl Briggle, his last name, was Bucktooth, as his dead head brushed across Sigurd's leg for about 20 miles, causing the teeth to actually bite into his skin, which laterally went septic, inflamed, and killed him. Talking about getting bit to death by a severed head. What isn't possible in this world? Not much. By 900, Scotland already had its own monarchy. That's all I had for this part, sorry. On May 1st, 1328, after the pesky English invaded Scotland from the south, the Scots were having none of it. They made St. Andrew their patron saint in hope of getting money from the papal states, and then adopted a flag showing in graphic detail how St. Andrew was killed by being hammered onto an upside-down X. They then declared war, as, You need to take precautions before battle. Ask the Scots, they're good at it. On March 24th, 1603, Scotland and England made it so that they would both have one monarch, starting with James VI of Scotland and James I of England. This was just for simplicity reasons. They also updated their flag to look like this. In 1652, England lost its Civil War, aka the English Civil War, and became parliamentarian, or led by the Parliament, the English legislature. Then, as they were being led by Oliver Cromwell, the Lord Protector of England, as he wanted to be called, who thought Christmas should be banned, invaded, and then took Scotland. By 1651, sorry Cromwells, but you lost control of England and Scotland. That's not so good when you want to take over the world. As a result, they lost. Then the English monarch, I believe it was James II, they had Oliver Cromwell exhumed. They brought his corpse to a guillotine. They had him decapitated. Then they had his body drawn and quartered. Then they had his head paraded around town. And for the next 300 years, his head would be passed around like it was some amazing, amazing thing. His head, oh, what a story his head had. I can make a whole video on that. Anyways, moving on now. A bit morbid, say. In 1707, Scotland and England officially unified, as well as Ireland, not voluntarily, and Wales to form the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, as it is now called. Except they ruled all of Ireland, the island, not the country. It didn't exist yet. Anyways, you get the point. Moving on. In the 1820s, the Industrial Revolution helped Scotland to fix their miserable economy. Now, they could mass produce two things. A food called haggis, which is a sheep or cow's stomach. And bagpipes. So wait. No. Whew, that was a close encounter with a third kind. Ugh, see in my nightmares, bagpipes. Anyways, during World War I and World War II, an unfortunate 131,000 Scots died. Surprisingly, about 15,000 served in World War I, like 15,000 more, which is odd because World War I is often the less forgotten and is considered inferior to World War II and its atrocities. Moving on. In the ancient world of 1999, ooh, so primitive, Scotland got its own parliament. In 2014, Scotland participated in an independence referendum to either leave or stay in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. It failed, with only 1.6 million people voting to leave, compared to the lot bigger number of 2 million wishing to stay and wreak the UK's great economy. Sorry, Scots, you could have been your own country. In 2014, Nicola Sturgeon became First Minister, aka basically the Prime Minister of Scotland. And with that is my history of Scotland. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope my jokes about the Scottish stereotype weren't too much. I hope I didn't make my Scottish ancestors angry with me. Thank you all so much for watching. As for what is coming up next, I don't know. I'm probably going to have to take requests again, but if I can come up with something, I will say in a video that I'll upload. So yeah, I don't know what's coming up next. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Enjoy your Scottish National Day, aka St. Andrew's Day. Thank you for watching. I would be playing the Scottish Anthem here, if it existed. Scotland has many contenders for a national anthem, like Scotland the Brave and some others, but they've never made up their minds, and the Scottish Parliament has more pressing issues. So I'm sorry, but there's no Scottish anthem, so I can't play an anthem here. Thank you for watching. Enjoy our day/night. I'm Andrew, and I'm out. Thank you for watching.